Alpharetta is constantly topping Niche's top places to live in Georgia, and probably the #1 place I get asked about when people are thinking about making a move here. But what's so great about Alpharetta? I'll tell you. Alpharetta is located about 26 miles right out of the city of Atlanta, and with only 67,000 people living here, it's the perfect suburb to live in if you still need to commute in for work. As you drive around Alpharetta, you're going to notice so many different types of properties. We have luxury townhomes, multi-million-dollar properties, new construction options, your typical swim tennis, and then you've also got a lot of modern apartment options. Alpharetta is home to some of the most sought-after neighborhoods, such as Country Club of the South, Glen Abbey. Windward is another really popular one because it has its own lakes and it's a bunch of sub-communities all within one very large community. Most of the neighborhoods in Alpharetta are going to be considered swim tennis communities. That's covered in your HOA dues, which are usually annual dues that are going to allow you to enjoy these facilities with all of your neighbors. I know a lot of people these days are looking for something that's not in an HOA, whether it's just that you want to have land or you're coming from something that was not as desirable. Maybe you had a really strict HOA, but if you're looking for something with a little bit more land, it's going to be pretty hard to find here in Alpharetta. You might have better luck finding something like that if you're wanting some chickens or be able to park your RV, boat, anything like that. If you can afford it, you're probably going to find that over in Milton. Probably one of the top reasons that people make the move to Alpharetta is all of the amazing restaurants and shops. There are so many options in Alpharetta, from Avalon to Halcyon, and then downtown Alpharetta as well. Now, going back to Avalon, there are a ton of restaurants, and sadly, me and my family have probably checked out all of them. But one of the top places, especially when I've got the kids, is Antico. It is one of those places that you just can't get enough of this pizza. It's like it just came home from Italy right to my door, and it's just absolutely amazing. So if you come here, make sure you check that out. Another place that I absolutely love is True Food Kitchen. If you are gluten-free or have any intolerances, this is the absolutely best place because they have anything and everything, and you could tolerate it. Another great selling point and huge factor of what drives people to Alpharetta are the great schools. Alpharetta High School was rated #3 in the entire state of Georgia, according to niche.com, and according to greatschools.com, got a 9 out of 10. Now, Chattahoochee High School also received a 9 out of 10. If you take a look here at the middle school and elementary schools, you will see that they are also very highly rated and sought after. Now, where there are great schools, a lot of times you're going to find higher prices according to housing, and that is definitely the factor here in Alpharetta. One thing to keep in mind, I always suggest doing your research. Make sure that you're going on to niche.com, greatschools.com, and more importantly, in my opinion as a parent, is talking to some of the other parents. Go on the Facebook groups, go to the schools and talk to them. There are many ways that you can talk to people and make sure that this is the right move for not only you, but also for kids and family. Speaking of home prices, here in Alpharetta, you're going to be looking at about $552,000 as the median home price. Now, that has decreased about $100,000 since July of this year. There are currently 268 homes listed for sale right now in Alpharetta, with the most expensive being the $6.75 million home, which looks to me like a small island, or you can get down to $225,000 for this beautiful townhome. You will notice that most homes around this area are listed at about $450,000 to $550,000, but we're still up 17% year over year. Now, if golf is your thing, there is no shortage of options here. You've got Rivermont, you've got Crooked Creek, Country Club of the South, which is also a gated community with about 700 estate-style homes. Also, a worthy mention is Atlanta National. Both of these last ones are part of Club Corp, so if you're traveling the world looking for golf courses, this is your place. Also, worth a mention, it's not exactly in Alpharetta, but it's just a short little drive, is the Manor Golf and Country Club. It is also a gated community. However, it is one of the most beautiful courses built by Tom Watson and also part of Club Corp. Something that I really have to give Alpharetta credit for is the fact that they have kept so much land for parks and recreation, such as Willis Park. This is a 120-acre property. 60 of those acres are for an equestrian show facility. They've got 10 baseball fields, a pool, 3 playgrounds, 6 tennis courts, and plenty of green space. While there is no shortage of shopping and restaurants like I mentioned earlier in the video, I really love the fact that Alpharetta has taken the time and energy to preserve as much green space as possible. They have got things going on constantly at Avalon, Halcyon, any of the parks, such as 4th of July. There's Christmas at the park over at Avalon where you take the green space and they have the ice skating rink. They've got a little pop-up bar. So there is just always something to do in Alpharetta. And one of the things that we've heard mentioned time and time again is that Alpharetta has a little bit more of the walkability factor. People that are coming from New York, Miami, some of those places where you can virtually walk anywhere, that's not the case here in the suburbs of Atlanta, and Alpharetta has tried really hard to make sure that they're connecting as much as they possibly can. Now, don't be surprised when you find yourself in traffic. If you're one of those people that's kind of living in Alpharetta and then commuting to Atlanta, Highway 400, you're gonna be sitting there for a minute. But thankfully around Alpharetta, they did think about all of the infrastructure as they were building. Most of the roads are gonna be 4-lane roads, so it should steadily be moving. So what do you think? Does it sound like Alpharetta might be the perfect place to call home? My contact information is below if there's any questions that are left unanswered. Otherwise, make sure you check out our other videos on the towns around Atlanta.